Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. My name is T-Captain-X, and today we're going to talk about the update that just went live for Call of Duty Warzone. This was a pretty small update with basically focusing on some gun balancing. That I'm pretty happy with overall how it went. If you're looking for some of the best Warzone loadouts, settings, strategies, and updates on things like this, or especially if you're a mouse and keyboard player and you wanted to improve your aim, I highly recommend you subscribing to the channel as I do videos on this sorts of stuff all the time. So the main two things that happened was we have the C58, which is one of the newer assault rifles this season. They increased the recoil of it, so recoil will be worse, harder to control. Also the Fara, which has definitely been, I believe, the most used primary gun in Warzone as of now. They also increased the recoil on that some. And then the nail gun, which a lot of people have seen is crazy good, crazy strong. They decreased their range by 39%, and in here they're basically explaining that they want the nail gun to be more on par with shotguns. They don't want it to be super viable at range. They want it to only be extremely strong in those super close quarters situations, which I think is fair. I think this is a very good balance because a lot of people weren't using it that much anyway, especially in trios and quads, just because it wasn't as viable with the only 20 nails per clip per magazine or whatever you want to call it for a nail gun. And so I think this is good. Now, they also made some adjustments to the barrels, the Coldwar barrels, for the assault rifles. So the Ranger barrel and the takedown, they used to help 15% to vertical and horizontal respectively. Now they're only going to do 10%. However, all of these changes are not going to make change or whatever on the XM4 and the Coldwar AK. And I think the reason they're doing that is those two guns weren't being used a ton because they had a lot more recoil compared to the C58 and the Fara. And those two guns had great time to kills anyways, so people were just like, why use those guns? They have good time to kills, yeah, they have good stats, but Far and the C58 had way less recoil. So I think they're doing that in a hope to kind of get more people to use those guns, and I think you're going to see that used a lot more frequently. The Ranger is a really good option because it helps with bullet velocity and helps with your vertical recoil control. So I think the Ranger for the Coldwar AK might be a really, really good option. Now, the Reinforced and the Task Force, those are the two barrels that they help both bullet range, bullet velocity, and they help both horizontal and vertical, whereas the Ranger and the Takedown only do one of each. So the Ranger does bullet velocity and vertical, the Takedown does horizontal and range. These ones did get nerfed for all Coldwar guns. So the XM4 and the Coldwar AK are going to see the same differences as all the Coldwar guns. So I think if you are using the Coldwar AK or the XM4, I think you might be better off to use the Ranger barrel for now on. And then if you're running as like a sniper support build, you might be better to run the Takedown and get that better range, because a lot of those mid-range fights are where you're using your primary with a sniper support, and you don't really need the great bullet velocity for super long engagements because that's what your sniper's for. And basically they have a little comment here saying they're happy with, the changes they made initially to making the Coldwar barrels have a recoil boost to it like the Modern Warfare guns. However, they're acknowledging that they're saying that it is a little bit too much and they might even adjust it more, which in all honesty, I think they need to. So let's hop in and let's take a look at some of these recoils with the Fara, C58, and the XM4 specifically. So I want to show you this clip as a little bit of like a pre-comparison before the changes of me just lasering this guy from a pretty far distance with like no recoil. Oh my God. So I think this is probably why they decided, hey, we should probably nerf this gun along with the Fara as well, because both guns are just way too easy to control for how much damage they do. So I've got the C58 here, pretty standard build with the agency suppressor, the task force barrel, which was going to help 15% with recoil now it's only going to help 10%. I'm not using the field agent on this one. We're going to do that here in a second. So let's shoot this 45 rounds here. Okay, so not too bad. Not too much horizontal recoil up and just slightly to the left here. All right, and now we've got the exact same setup, except I'm using a field agent on this one, whereas the other one I was not. So let's start again. And in all honesty, they look pretty damn near the same. I really can't tell a difference. I don't know if you guys can. So if it was me, I would not be using the field agent grip on the C58. The build I was using had the airborne elastic wrap for a little bit better ADS times. All right, guys, so now we're gonna compare the Fara with the changes. Then this build, I am using the Spetsnaz agency and the field agent again, and then ammo in the 3 times. So let's compare. We're gonna shoot the whole 60. So definitely a lot less recoil than the C58 in terms of vertical. It does do a little bit more of a goofy turn though. All right, so now we switched over to the Fara without the field agent, put the wrap on instead for better ADS time. So let's compare that with 60 rounds. So it seems like the recoil does kind of stop a little bit at the top. There definitely is more horizontal recoil with this one compared to with the field agent. So field agent is definitely helping on the Fara some, whereas the C58, I really didn't notice a difference. So guys, I hope you find that video helpful. If you did, please consider dropping a like and also subscribing to the channel for more content like this. I also stream over on Twitch at twitch.tv/tcaptainx if you want to check me out live. Have a great day, guys.